everyone, my name is Mal, and today I'm going to tell you about Alien Collective 1 Resistance. Really, I'm really curious about this book. Destruction, annihilation, pain, sorrow. This image flooded Charlotte's brain. A lush green planet filled with amazing creatures, destroyed when an experiment set its entire atmosphere on fire. Images of another world, one with advanced civilization living beneath violet seas. The ocean was their home, their livelihood, and ultimately their power source. Huge factories grown from something like coral released clouds of seemingly harmless gases. The gases became the main food source for tiny organisms few had studied. By the time the inhabitants discovered that the food chain was turning the water toxic, it was too late. A planet buried in trash. Another wiped out by disease, wars, famines, scenarios of destruction played out again and again in Charlotte's mind, like a horrifying movie. How were the aliens doing this to her? The pain was horrible and didn't seem to end. To her, the aliens' message was clear: submit and change, or die. What does it mean? I don't know. 2 days earlier, Charlotte was stuffing her pack with supplies for the raid of streets. This was what the resistance called sterilization and re-education centers. The effort involved many resistance cells around the world attacking the sinister structures at the same time. This was the first time the resistance was attempting an attack on this scale. Charlotte wouldn't miss it for anything. Even her own father refused to let her leave the compound. It's my responsibility to keep you safe, he had argued. You're not going. It took less than a minute to pry her bedroom window open. She bypassed the security system with a paperclip and some gum. Once outside, she crept low across the dark lawn. Her father would be in Mr. Morrison's basement, a bomb shelter built in the 1950s. He'll be watching live video of the raid, looking for moments of heroism to use later. Charlotte was only 15, but she had big dreams. One day she'll be one of her father's videos. Her heroism would convince people to fight an alien invasion. That's strange. She hopped over the old creaky gate before sprinting down the alley to a meeting point below and behind a dumpster. Sam. Wait, who's Sam? Let's go back, I guess. Oh. Who's Sam? I don't know. Sam was nowhere to be seen. That's whatever. Sam was nowhere to be seen, and for a moment, Charlotte feared the worst. Seconds later, however, he came tearing down the corner, skidding into darkness behind the dumpster. Took you long enough, Charlotte whispered. I had to wait until my mom was glued to her TV shows, Sam grumbled. I was starting to think maybe you chickened out, Charlotte gave Sam a playful push. We need to move or we'll miss everything, Sam urged. This strike force is sweeping through the east gates, The backup force is going out the north gate. You want to say the backup force? I don't think anyone would notice us. Sam's dad was the leader in the resistance army. He was in Mr. Morrison's basement too, most likely giving commands. Charlotte nodded, and Sam set off into the street, trying to keep it to the shadows. Charlotte took a deep breath and followed him. I'm sorry, Charlotte heard in her mind. It wasn't her voice, though, or one she recognized. She opened her eyes and blinked. Her head throbbed as if her brain was trying to burst out her skull. She was on a bed in the Star Queen room. A glowing ball near the ceiling provided bright but pleasant light. I know you're in a great deal of pain, but first procedure was a success. The voice came out again, but this time she could somehow tell it was coming from right. Turning her head is painful. You're now partially connected to the galactic link. Standing near her bed was some kind of wizard person who watched her with head slightly tilted. It wore a long, bright red robe with small gold baubles. Wizard person is close enough, the voice said, or even wizard man, since I am male. Given your experience, I can understand the comparison. What's happening? Charlotte croaked. Her throat was painfully dry. How are you talking in my head? The collective wing has many uses, the creature said. Species from all over the galaxy are part of the collective. It will be impossible for all of us to communicate with sound. The original races developed a link as a way to translate meaning. The explanation was dumped into Charlotte's mind all at once. It took a moment to sort it out. Painfully, she realized as she was talking with an alien, it must have captured her. She tried to sit up, but her arms and legs were strapped to the bed somehow. She couldn't lift up more than a few inches. The pain in her head was so bad when she did move that she quickly gave up. The alien ignored her struggle and kept talking her head. The tone was almost like someone talking to a small child. What the? In simple terms, I send my intended message and meaning to you over the link. The link translates my message into something you'll understand. Usually it comes through as words, but it could come through as text, images, or even emotions. So you can read my mind? Charlotte asked. Not really. I only receive messages you want to send to me or that are sent out to anyone who's listening. It takes some time to get used to it. How rude of me. Charlotte's mind was filled with series of hisses, grunts, and gurgles. The wing doesn't do well with names. You can give me a name your own, though doing so isn't necessary. You simply need to think of me. The creature's face reminded her of Artie, the wizard her third grade class had kept as a pet. It has been her turn to take it home and care for it over 1 weekend. She accidentally forgot about it on the black seat of dad's SUV. It froze to death. Her dad made her buy the class a new wizard with her allowance savings. The alien looked shocked. She had apparently sent her the entire memory over the link. Charlotte smiled.